from the compound to compound and then making it through. But all these speculations will be put aside when we take a look at the reality. When the things go south, when the teams start dropping hot, that is when the teams who do not crumble under pressure will have the highest chance of winning. Let's begin the Grand Finals, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for the first game in Bermuda.
All teams taking this flight path, and the flight itself sees right between the map in half, and it gives everybody an opportunity to go in their own ways. But Revenant X-Park seems like what I was worried about with Falcons has happened rather with Aurora very early. And it seems like Aurora decided to take a different drop. They've also gone to Shipyard. Could be trouble there. Fight already breaking out. Revenant X-Park taking a tad bit of damage. They're not ready for the fight, and that's the reason they're buying some time and also collecting coins. And Aurora are rather taking space away from Revenant X-Park if this continues.
Yeah, Revenant X-Park have been winning most of their Shipyard gunfights, but Aurora have learned from their mistakes. When these teams clashed during the main event, it took them a long time to get that first blood, but it seems like Vincent acquires the first knock already. The knock will be turned into a res once again, but no, Arsh will make sure that it stays down. Ezreal also falls, and Revenant X-Park have all the advantage they need. They get the confirmation onto Ezreal, and now they are moving in towards this little platform where they should be able to take the shots onto the Axel as well. June gets confirmed. Axel leaves the area, but will he get plucked off midair? Sohan has just the right tools for the job, but it seems like they will follow him instead. Arsh hot on his heels.
If they traverse in this direction, Falcons are not far away. I'm worried. Graveyard is where they dropped, and I thought their fight should be the first that would happen. The Axel, the last one, he doesn't have enough coins, so him trying to bring anybody back is not at all a possibility. Aurora seems like this could be difficult for them. The very first game becomes the very first team to be eliminated. Aurora Gaming from Malaysia are done in the Grand Finals. They don't get the great start. And what an upset to start off. We've been seeing this from them yesterday as well. They're trying their best, trying to get off to a great elimination spree, but it's not working out. And it seems like it will not again. And Vincent becomes the damage king at the very beginning with 1225 damage going on.
Yep. And Revenant X-Park only lost one player in the process, and that too wasn't to Aurora. They lost that player to Falcons like you suspected, they third party, but they have recovered from that loss. Now let's see if Biggitron can recover from this, because Shocked plucks off his opponent mid-air. Even Joel goes down, so yeah, this is going to be problematic for Biggitron. You cannot have such a hard-hitting team lose two of their players, that too against Straw Hats, who've been barely hanging on by a thread in this tournament.
On the other end, SHL Esports, they have been getting eliminations and they've been hanging out to opponents in vengeance. But right is now opening not that great. Troll on the roof gets hit upon. Should be confirmed, and Bunny quickly gets him back into the game. But Revenant X-Park, they are closing in the gap. Prince, is he ready? Is he going to lead this team to a conversion, or is it going to be Revenant X-Park converting another fight? Sohan, he gets knocked down by Jax. Dash coming through. Bunny now looking forward to another. Chrono was activated, giving a lot more space for SHL Esports. But then Falcons, they're making a surprise jump. This is what I was worried about with SHL and Falcons. Revenant X-Park completely suffered demolition and get out of this Bermuda.
Yeah, Revenant X-Park overheating over here, thinking that they would have a chance against SHUL, but they did not account for the third party that Falcons brought in. And now Falcons have acquired the first floor of the house. SHUL wondering how to flush them out of there, but I don't think they will need to worry about flushing Falcons out. Falcons jump down. Jack surrounded, has to put up a bunch of glue walls and escape out of the window to find the angle. Bunny tries to provide him some backup, but Keroro finds him, and Racha turns around. He gets the double elimination, and SHUL are down to their last player. Somehow they should be able to escape, but Troll has a hit list activated. So these guys will be able to track Troll. And Troll just revived one of his players, so I think Falcons will be able to keep track of where the rest of SHUL is.
This is what we predicted right from the get-go. A lot of fights breaking out, and just like one got ended, Team Apex Gaming had a fight with AG Global, and one player already got eliminated, Nameless, and then on Barros, and it looks like Team Apex Gaming are looking good at the very start, but Saifa, he's been their primary assaulter, their rusher who's been doing a lot, and he's also the highest in terms of the elimination at the end of the main event, but still, Team Apex Gaming in the fight afar will be able to deal with him and get another elimination. So they're sitting at a pretty 3 at the very beginning.
Yeah, Apex Gaming have always been very good whenever they go towards Sentosa Island. So if anyone tries to challenge them over there, they should be uncontested. Speaking of contesting this arsenal, it's going to be Titan Esports Club versus DP. But wait, a swap from Demon's Pride accidentally blows himself up with that grenade launcher. That's an unforced error that Demon's Pride cannot afford to make.
Thankfully, they did manage to get out of here, and Titan Esports Club, while they did want to keep this hunt going, they understand that they might be running into another team, especially that they just safely got out of a fight with Straw Hats and now have 5 eliminations. Titan Esports Club will be happy, but will the same thing be seen on the faces of SATL Esports? The fight that they were about to convert against Revenant X Park was completely challenged by Falcons, and now Prince, who's brought the whole team back, is completely separated from his teammates. And SATL fighting a wind in the other direction, and Hotshot get taken down, take one player down. Demon's Pride take the other player down in the other direction. And SATL again seem like they are getting picked off. If this continues, they'll be barely managing to make it across here in the very first game. One elimination survived by 2 players, should be able to get the rest back up. But the fight between SATL that has instigated to Demon's Pride's player Spotted and Leo. Midair knocks top 77 with the SEAT. Brilliant shot coming through, and confirmation also goes for Hotshot. And Hotshot seems like they're trying to get their groove back in here in Bermuda's Grand Finals.
Woo! I mean, their groove actually is very, very groovy. Look at the move. So effortless. Meanwhile, Apex Gaming versus AG Global, the fight has dragged on all the way from Sentosa Island to Cape Town now. These guys just do not let go of each other. Apex Gaming trying to go for the jump shots, but Wolven loses his life. Duke connects that VSK shot really well. Look at Shoto closing in the gap, finds the shot onto Nameless. Puts up another glue wall so that he can get the res onto his fallen member, Wolven. But KD God goes down in the process. Now, Apex Gaming, they control the vending machine, so they will not let anybody else get the reses. Sahil Jat, he buys back KD God, but Dew has no choice but to escape from here. Hops into the car, and he's trying to get out, but the dash from Shoto gets him the angle. Not only lets Dew escape, they can still target Cypher. They know that one more player is around the corner, but they don't know where exactly, and they don't have any info-based abilities to find him. So Wolven and Shoto, they go on a merry joyride. They go for the chase and try to find that escapee.
Trying to find eliminations is even Falcons. They're picking players of Hotshots, 8 already. Pina trying to quickly patch himself up, get the HP back up, and he'll successfully do it. But Titan Esports Club are close. We did see the player from Hotshot try to get close. As soon as he understood there's another team, he made a run. But Pina is continuing his aggression. Nade being tossed. Now Pina, he's in trouble. He gets taken down. The nade didn't do the damage, but the Max 7 does, and the confirmation works. But Keroro, we know he's the bomber for the team. He throws deadly nades, and he's cooking another up. But Keroro in turn gets damaged a little early, and therefore it's trouble, and Nejad closed the distance. It's up to Limit X7. Trouble coming in for Falcons very early on, but Limit X7 at the right nick of time gets his teammates back up, and they'll be flying down very soon. Using the most stealth bites, will make a run, but Rahat, he's right next to the corner. He will eventually spot him out. Limit X7, he might have it off here, but I don't think the AWM will be helping him out, and that is gonna be him out for the time being. Scout.
Whew. That was painful. But Titan Esports Club, they must be rejoicing this. 12 eliminations for them. We've never seen them be this aggressive before, not in the main event. So that's going to be very cool. Meanwhile, RRQ doing what they do best, farming the lobby. But there is unfortunately a third party over here. You have Seabank from Bikitron also trying to enter this fight. So while DP will be able to escape from there, oh my god, RRQ, they'll survive on their last legs. One player flies off using the launch pad, but Maal is getting hunted. I'm pretty sure the rest of Bikitron Esports will be hot on his heels any second now. And Koja, Seabank, both of them trying to close in the distance against Maal. It's not just them actually, wait, it's the entire Bikitron team. And they found him. They know he's hiding behind this glue wall. Deeks and Koja going in together as a death squad. And here comes that final grenade to eliminate RRQ.
What is happening to the teams that we thought would find their conversions? Hot on their heels, it seems to be Titan Esports Club, and a tad bit difficulty for everybody else. This is looking brilliant. Bigotron by Vitality, even a little bit of a exchange that did not work their way. Now they've found their footing. Anas mid-air in these games when the zone's closing in will not work out. Brilliant shot coming in from Joel. Again, this AWM doing brilliant stuff as snipers. And I was just taking a look at the stat scripts, to be honest, right? Rushers were the ones who had better stats as well as the bombers compared to the snipers, even though the meta kind of favors the snipers. That's how crazy this tournament's been. That's how chaotic these players have taken the close combat battles.
Yeah, I mean, most of the players lately have been either using a shotgun plus sniper loadouts, or they've been using double sniper loadout. Even the rushers, I mean, we've seen how RRQ have literally all 4 of their players using at least one AWM. Sometimes you've got players like Kiroro using double AWMs. I mean, of course, RRQ is out of this game, but the meta kinda is moving in that direction where you need extremely fast TTK weapons to be able to win those gunfights. So you either 2-tap your opponent with the M590 or you 2-tap them with the AWM or the VSK94s. Or, you know, like this, one shot your opponent with the grenade launcher. Najat destroys KD God. Wolven is right around the corner. He tries to exact revenge. But this is what happens when you use the Groza. You barely tickle your opponents, forcing them into the time turner and then switching to the M590 gets him the elimination. Confirmation as well. Sahiljat, on the other hand, has been able to win his duel against Blade. And this is Apex Gaming winning those individual 1v1s. They're not playing as a team. This is not the kind of coordination we expect from the India champions. But hey, if it's working for them, then so be it. They will continue doing what works for them. Of course, until that is, they meet another team who's able to punish them for their individual duels.
But for the timing, they were able to hold themselves off, and you have to give kudos to Sahil Jad and Kutush!
Oh!
The last one from Titan Esports Club, it seemed like they were off to a rally right now. 12 eliminations, and we almost thought there could be a Booyah, that they might already be in works off, but they get eliminated. Another team lost to the dust of Bermuda's action, and it seems like this aggression is going to continue and is going to be either suffering for some of the teams or very much punishing that nobody can recover. And right now, Falcons on that receiving end. On one end, they have Hotshots. On the other, it's going to be Bigatron by Vitality. Hotshots, they're the ones more in the tougher spot because they're out in the open, down the hill. Bigatron by Vitality, they have a compound, and Falcons only a tower, which has just 4 corners to hold off for the time being. Looking at the circle, it's Bigatron by Vitality who have control of this game for now.
Yeah, Bigatron by Vitality have the central most compound. I mean, I can't even call it a compound, right? It's just like a tiny hut with a wooden fence for borders. Yeah, it's just a super tiny place, but it's still better than whatever Falcons had. They just had a cell phone tower for themselves. And now they're trying to climb up on the high ground, but again, it would be in the open. The only thing working for them right now is that there's no flanker who's going to pose a massive amount of danger to Falcons. So that's the only thing keeping them safe. But the zone, once again, goes for a rather central shift. Now, Bigatron still have one of the best compounds, but even Team Apex Gaming, they have a decent compound right now. SHUL just a few meters away from the safe zone. Otherwise, they also wouldn't have had to leave their house. But eventually, in the next 20 odd seconds, SHUL will also be forced to leave their house and come charging in where Apex are standing. Falcons trying to compete against Bigatron in the same compound, but both these teams recognize the risk. So for now, they're just keeping each other at an arm's distance.
Time's ticking. Bigatron by Vitality, while they've allowed Falcons to close the distance, Hotshots are also inching in that direction. This could be trouble, but trouble is brewing for Straw Hats, who gets picked off by Nameless on the quad. Falcons in the meantime, now they've taken over the garage that Bigatron by Vitality had, through which they were trying to spot other teams. And it seems like for the time being, they might not actually get sandwiched because Hotshots are still trying to play outside the zone. And it might help out Bigatron by Vitality for the time being, but that was also giving them information because one of the players from SATL took a shot, but they actually have their eyes on tag. That's going to be Team Apex Gaming. 2 of the players in an instant get knocked. Does that continue? I think the distance should enable Team Apex Gaming to recover their players and continue the fight.
Yeah, while they continue that fight, they will need to get inside the zone rather quickly. They race in. They use their launch pads and they found safety. But Straw Hats tried to do the same and they were met with a bunch of knocks instead. So Straw Hats have to take the tougher way around. Hotshots have no place to call safe, so they just try knocking on the doors of Falcons, not realizing that Bigatron also are right around the corner. They know that they barely have any cover for themselves. Just a tiny wooden fence is only going to protect them from one direction. But this is all they have right now. This and an electrotherapy bond. That's all that's keeping them alive. Any flank will render Hotshots in a lot of danger instantly.
Danger. Bigatron by Vitality did fend off some, but now that they've taken fights and a pitter-patter rifles that they have sent across, trying to scrape through other teams in terms of a damage, is now maybe gonna eventually bite their own backs. But they're still not worried. Look at them. They're not even batting an eye either on Hotshots or Falcons. I think that's just because they have the circle. On the other end, SHUL, finally we put an end to Demon Sprite. They were already taking a fight with them, but that has now put and forced the fight with Team Apex Gaming and SHUL Esports, especially the zone closing in. Riptide Rhythm being used. Prince is down. That's going to be AG Global also coming into the mix. Bunny on the quick pickup with the help of the Chrono, but look at Troll on the flank. Is still outside the zone. Shoto finally spots him out. Prince is down again once more, and Bunny, he has to do something different. Right next to stuck, and he will be taken down with a nade. And Bigatron by Vitality, they also keep peppering their bullets against Team Apex Gaming as SHUL Esports are out.
Yeah, while Apex Gaming was busy gatekeeping SHUL, all their points were stolen away from them. So now Apex have no choice but to run into the zone. Sahiljat, the last survivor of his team, has to somehow keep the glue walls coming and keep himself safe from Hotshots. He doesn't need to worry about Bigatron right now because Bigatron are busy fighting Falcons. But Hotshots, they have to leave this fence and get inside that zone. And they're being peppered with a lot of grenades. Sahiljat must play the spoiler right now. Meanwhile, Sajid and Actions are busy trying to keep Bigatron at bay by placing the glue walls on that window side. Falcons seem to be breathing a sigh of relief because nobody seems to be fighting them right now. But Hotshots will be forced to fight against Falcons. It's a 3v4v4v1, but Actions goes outside the zone to get the elimination onto Sahiljat. Tanks a little bit of the blue zone damage, but it gets him a massive elimination.
That was smart. That was calculated. They had to do it. They did not want to leave an enemy right behind. But right now, Hotshots, they don't have a compound. Bolt make a call, but look at Bigatron by Vitality. How are they still surviving? No fights between these three teams. From so long, we've been witnessing that there was a chance, and all of them still waiting for a chance. Just a nade, a little bit of a chip damage was done, but Sajid is the one who's big in trouble. Joel finally with the AWM knocks Guerrero, and he's out as well for the count. Limit X7 and Pina are the last two survivors by Falcons. Bigatron by Vitality, the number, the compound, all working in their favor. Limit X7 having no view of this fight, and Hotshots, they have managed to take the wood edge of this compound for themselves, and there is the strike coming in from Anas, and now Falcons' numbers are depleting.
Yeah, Hotshots try to have three players on the fence for up close and personal action while Anas gets the flank, and he's gonna be responsible for knocking out anybody who tries to climb up on that roof. Sajid with that grenade destroys Koja. Anas finds the angle onto Pina. Falcons fall. The birds have been hunted down, and now Hotshots lock horns against Bigatron. 2v3. Deeks manages to turn the tide, but Sajid with that grenade launcher is going ham. It's all up to Deeks now in a nearly impossible 1v3 situation. He's locked outside the zone, taking the blue zone damage. Sajid and his teammates are just locking him in. He's forced to go outside. Actions puts the final nail in the coffin, and Hotshots have a red hot start to this tournament.